Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to this channel and you'll just come across to this video, this is a 1984 Vespa that I've done on a bare metal respray all the way up. So there is other videos on the channel, guys, that you can see the project that I'm doing and you'll catch up to where we are now. Now, if you are a full-on hardcore subscriber, because I know there's some out there that are, you'll know where we are and you'll know where I left you off. I'll just stick you a little video up now. This is where I left you off. We were getting into base coat, and I said that I was going to be leaving this a couple of days because I have like work commitments. I'm not permanently working from here. I've got like a normal job where I'm in the body shop and doing the fenders and getting sort of gun reviews up for you guys while I'm in there painting, working. I said I'd leave this a couple of days. Now, if you left your base coat, this is a solid blue base coat. Now, if you left it a couple of days and you went straight into clear coat it now, you wouldn't get the adhesion with your clear coat down to your panel. Yes, it would go down, you would see it, but eventually it would probably sort of like start to sort of delaminate itself away from your base coat. So what you have to do is, and what I've done this morning is gone in with a grey Scotch-Brite and just scuffed back all the surfaces on these bits that we're going to clear coat today. We will panel wipe this off, clean it down, and then you'd be good for clear coat. You've got your clear coat has got something to grab hold of in them little scuff marks, just to grab and adhere to. So that's what you'd have to do. So that's what we've done first thing. Now, doing that this morning, going around with the grey Scotch, I've just on these sharp edges, I've just knocked back to the primer. You can just see the white of the polyester coming through here. So there's a couple of spots around here where I've just sort of broke through. Now, you could go in with a big spray gun, which I could do, and you could dial it down to spot, turn your pressure down and try and blow in these bits here, but then you would get overspray hitting here, which would make all this feel rough. You'd get overspray across, you'd just get a lot of overspray. It's a bigger guns are a little bit harder to get on these intricate pieces. Even with some of the mini jets that you get, minimum mini jet sort of size is like a 1mm setup. So what we're going to do is, the bonus of being an airbrusher and owning a selection of guns over the years that I've got, we've got the PS290, which is a trigger version miniature spray gun, which is a 0.5, and on the front you've got a tiny little fan cap that you can turn like that way and that way like you do on normal spray guns, and we can go in and get all these little intricate pieces here. If there's any bits in here, we can get and just blow in and just tidy up the blue. There's bits here where it's missed because you just can't get into these little angles with a big spray gun or a mini jet. It's just without putting it on spot and creating a run, you just can't get in. But this, you can get right up close, just puff the blue colour in and just get all these intricate pieces. So I want to go around the whole of this frame with this brush, get some base coat in it, and just go around and just make sure every little edge on this frame is in full colour before we drop any clear coat down. It's just for peace of mind, and it just looks better and tidier when it leaves the studio. I know that everything is being covered with the base coat and will be covered with the clear coat, because we can drop clear coat in the 290 as well. It works exactly the same, and if I'm missing little dots of clear coat, I can just go in, just puff in some clear coat on these little bits if I miss any. So that's a bonus of having that gun. The clear coat that we're going to use today is Capsi Coatings. It's the Capsi 6030, and it's a high solids clear coat, the HS clear coat. It's a 2-to-1 mix. You can use thinners. Now, if you are clear coating in the UK as we are today, and you're in your garage, your studio or your workshop, and you've not got proper booth facilities like we all haven't when you're sort of working from home and things, if you're mixing your Capsi, this will spray just 2-to-1 mix straight away with no thinners. It's nice, but I would recommend warm your clear coat up. Stick your clear coat in a bucket of warm water, hot water, let it sit in hot water, and it will just make the viscosity of your clear thinner, so when you come to spray it, it's nice and warm, it's thinned down, and it will lay down really nice. If you have to use thinners and you want to just slightly thin it down, I would use a fast thinners. as it's cold temperatures. When it starts to warm up through the year, then you can start moving on to your medium, and then when it gets really hot, you'd move on to your slow thinners. It just makes your clear coat, it just keeps it sort of wetter on your panel and makes it flow out a little bit more, gives you a little bit more of a window of going round something, clearing it. It just stays wet, so when you're going round, you're not getting a sort of dry patch and it drying up, and then you're getting sort of like, you want to keep that wet edge as you're sort of going round and moving around your panels with your clear. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to warm the clear up. It's staying in the studio at the minute, and we're warming the studio up. I'll be clearing this about midday, so I'll leave the heater on in here, bringing the studio up to temperature, and it'll be bringing all these metal panels up to a warmer temperature. I'll be wetting the floor down before I clear coat. This will be hoovered out because we've got a little bit of dust of the blue. Clean this down, hoover it out, mist wet the floor and just slightly around the walls, and this should come out quite clean. So that's going to be about 12 o'clock. We'll move on to that about 12 o'clock. I've got a new spray gun that we're going to use on this today, and I'm going to do a review for you next on this spray gun. I've been itching to get hold of one. Finally got the funds together to get one for the collection, and it'll be perfect for doing this size stuff. It's brilliant on air consumption, so you've not got to have a big compressor to run it, and that's the beauty of this gun, because when you're using the big spray guns, especially on clear coat, when you're running sort of like 2-bar, you've got to have a compressor with big CFMs to like keep up with the airflow that you are hammering out with like 2-bar pressure. But the gun I'm going to show you next is absolutely perfect for this. So let's get this unboxing done. See you in a bit. Right guys, welcome to the gun review. I've moved inside. We're letting the studio warm up for part 2, because it's going to be part 2 when we do the clear coating. But I just want to take you through this unboxing on the gun that we're going to use today to clear coat the Vespa parts up. Now I've sort of saved my pennies up because these guns are expensive, and we have purchased the DV1S by DeVilbiss. So I'll give you a little unboxing and I'll talk you through and show you this gun and why I would recommend it. Tell you about the features on it. So the actual gun itself comes in a black box, and it is like that, guys. If you've seen the DV1, which is the bigger version, you're basically getting the same gun as the DV1, but just a smaller, in like a mini jet gun, sort of spot repair type gun. So that's the gun itself. Black body like the DV1, really nice coating. I've owned the DV1 now for over a year. It's been used in the body shop, in and out the gun wash, and the coating has been absolutely spot on, guys. I've had no wear or bits where it's sort of like looking like it's going to come away. So it's a really nice coating on these guns. You'll find with these as well, if you're used to the DV1, the triggers on these are silky smooth, so it's just like the bigger version but just made smaller in this one. So it's really nice trigger. The dials to the back, as again, if you're used to the DV1, it's just miniature down, it's exactly the same. If you're used to the old style guns like the SRI minigun and the SRI Pro Light, you get like your aluminium sort of like pins that go in the back for your fluid and for your fan adjust. After a while they can feel a bit sort of grindy in the back if you're not taking care of your gun and it's going in and out of a gun wash and using it day in day out. They can tend to get sticky, so it's, you've got to like lubricate them up on them. But you'll find with these ones on the DV1S and DV1, they're just silky smooth. There's just a lot better design on these, on the backs, I find. Same with the triggers. The triggers seem a little bit dated on the older guns, a little bit clunkier, a little bit more, they're like sort of loose and flap around. These are just a lot more smoother. To the bottoms of the gun as well, on the old models, you had your air adjust here, which is really close to where you screw up your regulator to the bottom of your gun. And I always find if you're using it in a body shop environment and things like that, you can get a lot of paint build up around these, and usually have these wound right out and you get like all the grime and bits sticking all around here. But on the new ones, they've done away with that, which has made it a bit more sleeker. It's easier to clean, and it gives you a little bit more room when you're putting your regulator to the bottom. It just frees that little bit of space up, So when you've got the regulator on the gun, you've not got this bit coming down. It's just a lot cleaner design, a lot better. When it comes to regulators as well, I'd advise you get an expensive one. I've got the DeVilbiss one here, which I've been using in the studio and using in the body shop, and I find these regulators work really well, guys. They're accurate. The bonus with a quality regulator is you get a glass front. You see a lot of the cheap regulators on Amazon and eBay for like £10, £15. You'll get one, you'll use it, you'll be spraying your solvent based coats and that, and I guarantee you get overspray on these, on the faces. Now the cheaper ones have got plastic screens and you probably won't realise it. You'll be spraying, you'll come to clean it, and the first thing you do is get a bit of solvent, you wipe the plastic front, and it just sort of melts it and sends it all frosted, and then you can't see your pressure setting, what you're setting your gun at. So buy a quality one with the glass front, so when you come to clean it with thinners, you can just wipe it and it cleans off the glass dead easy. The DeVilbiss ones work really well. As I say, I've been using this in the body shop and the studio, and it's been blinding, guys. Great regulator. So back onto the gun, the other bits that you get in the box, you get your small cup which screws to the top. You can buy the adapters if you're using like the PPS systems where you've got the plastic cups that you put on the PPS ones. You can buy the adapters for them, but you get that size cup. I think this is, I'm not sure of the size cup on this, but it is a smaller cup like you would get on your SRI Pro and Pro Light, things like that. In the top, which is a bonus with this, which I really like as well, you get a miniature paint strainer that sits in the top of the cup like that and just locates to the top. You can strain your paint and then you can wash these out, which is an absolute bonus. It works really, really well. You get two nozzle setups with this. So this comes with a 1mm and a 1.2mm setup. You don't need to change your needle because the needles are like double tapered. So when you put your 1mm nozzle in, your needle that you get with the gun locates to that, and then when you change up to the 1.2, it sort of locates again on the needle sort of a little bit further back and locates to the nozzle on that. So it's two setups with the gun as well, which is a bonus. I've seen a lot of reviews on this and people are saying it's very expensive for what it is. Now, yes, it is an expensive gun, but I always say you get what you pay for, and you definitely are getting a good bit of kit for the price, guys. Yes, you could go out and buy a cheap £30 minigun, but I guarantee it, the fan will be absolutely horrendous. It'll either arc on the fan, it won't be a true fan setting, it'll either go top or bottom heavy. The actual coating on the gun won't be very good. The triggers will be poor. You will use it a few times, you'll be chucking it in and out of a gun wash, and it will just deteriorate really, really quick, and you'll just be throwing your money away and buying again and again and again. The idea is you buy quality once, and then that quality gun stays with you through your career, and it just works and performs better, as you will see when we move on into part 2, when we drop the clear coat down with this. Now, I have done a review on the channel on this gun. A company sent one of these out for me to do a review on, and I've done a few videos with it. I've done some Harley tanks. I've done a Fat Boy Harley tank, which is a big tank, a front fender. I've done Lambretta side panels with one of these, done a bike frame with one of these, and it is coped with it absolutely easy. And I used the 1mm setup on it, and it hammered the clear coat down and put a lovely finish down. So that's why I wanted to save my pennies up and pick one up so I could do a review for you guys, and I've got it for the studio because this is going to be my dedicated clear coat gun for the studio, because you use a lot less air pressure. These run a lot lower air consumption, so if you've got a small, say 50-litre compressor, absolute brilliant for that, than using like your big guns where your compressors running and running and running, trying to keep up with your 2-bar pressure on your big gun. So that's what we're using today. It's the DV1S highly recommended. The other bits you get in your box, you'll get your information sheet which tells you all the parts, so you get a breakdown if anything goes wrong. You can buy all the individual parts. It gives you a listing, shows you how to work it, troubleshooting guides in there which helps out. You get your spanner to undo bits like you do with your normal gun. So basically what you're getting in the DeVilbiss box on your other guns is the same across the line in the DV1S. So join me in part 2 and I'll show you some clear coat going down with this. See you in the next one, guys.